All right, guys, welcome back to the Clack Shack. And today I've got my primary machine busy cutting out some stuff for an order that I have, and I've decided that I've got a hat patch that I've got to have a few of them made for a customer, and so I've decided to give the Atomstack a go at making some hat patches. I just will throw this out there. This is the Atomstack that was gifted to me for the purpose of making videos, so we'll just go ahead and throw that out there. What I will do though is I want to take an opportunity to show you that, you know, for those of you that have been wondering, could you run multiple machines with one PC? I'm going to take and I'm going to swap off of the camera over to the computer to kind of show you and walk you through what I got going on the computer, so that you can see how it's set up and how it works and all that. So give me just a second. I'm going to kill the feed over there and get it fired up here. All right, guys, had a little bit of a hiccup with the video, and so I'm gonna have to voice over this one. Y'all bear with me, but at least it'll make it a little quicker because I'm just gonna touch on the hot spots. In this little segment, I'm gonna show you that I can run these two different machines using Lightburn and two different instances of Lightburn, the program. But I just wanna show you, this is a Microsoft Windows 10 Pro machine. It was upgraded from its original operating system, was like a Windows 7, but I've upgraded it. It's an older PC, but as you can tell by the processor and the fact that it has 16 gigs of RAM, it was actually quite a beast back in its day. It also, because of the way it was built out, if you look right there, you'll notice that, well, let me get it to it. You'll notice that it has a NVIDIA Quadro M1000 video card in it, and it was made to process video. It will actually process video pretty well, even though I don't use it for that. I just use it to run my machine. But this is the part here. I'm basically just showing you that I have one instance of Lightburn running, and I have my X1 cutting a job. At that time, you can see in the camera over there that the Lightburn is operating. The X tool is cutting a job, and then I open another instance, and what you do is you go over and just basically you just select a different machine, and you'll notice that the work area changes sizes, and now I have two machines running on this computer and can do independent operations on them. I can also open up a third window of Lightburn, and I could leave this window as is and not connect it to any machine and build files while the other two machines are running. And I actually do that a lot to save time. So I'm going to close that one there out, and we're going to go back. This is the screen for the Atomstack, and we're going to be doing a hat patch. So this next little part, basically, I'm just running through the process of getting my files and dragging the artwork in, getting everything put together, and getting it centered. Once I get everything centered and grouped, and that's what the image should look like on our hat patch. And I'm gonna basically be running, I thought I needed to turn the settings up for this burn from what I did with my 10 watt, but hindsight, I probably could have kept running the same power settings as what I did with my 10 watt, because the results were very similar to what I would expect from the 10 watt. One thing that I did have to go in and do, because like I said, I haven't been using this machine a whole lot, is I had to go in and turn on the enable laser fire button as well as laser on when framing. And then once you do that, you have to come over, and this is on a new install. Right there is where you set the power intensity for the aiming dot, and I put it on like 5%. That was a little hot, so I wound up going back with 3 because it was actually trying to engrave the material, or maybe I went with 2, but yeah, you have to actually set that setting. But now I just sent the file to the machine. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing all my changes. So I'm about to send the file to the machine and move over to the other camera. So I'm gonna switch back to the camera that does have audio and finish this thing out, guys. All right, guys, here we go. This is the same leather I used on the X tool to do those patches. So I'm gonna go ahead. I've got everything, like I said, we've got everything framed out. It looks to be, I'm gonna go ahead and frame it one more time just so y'all can see how it frames. I've got the laser light turned on. I've got it set to like 2% or 3. But I'm gonna go ahead now and start this engrave and see how she does. The way I've got this set up, the lines actually are going first. I didn't realize that until I hit the button, but I'm just gonna go ahead and let it do it. Hopefully the leather won't curl on me, but at least that'll let me know if it's gonna actually cut through it all the way. It's generating a little bit of soot. I might have to turn the power down a little bit. This guy's got a little more spunk than I had anticipated. Nope, I see the problem, guys. Somebody forgot to set the focus on this thing. Yep, somebody forgot to set the focus. Oh, that's the thing about new machines. I don't have it like memorized yet on all the steps. Bet that makes a big difference because that was way out of focus. All right, so I'm gonna move my design up and get it off of those little holes. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take and put my image burn up top so that we do that first before the cut. So let me frame this guy out and make sure I got off of that. Oh, and if you hadn't noticed, yeah, I have my prototype of the my little jig holder on there. And I do plan to build a couple of jigs for it. I've got some dog tags coming and a couple of some business cards coming that I'm gonna do. And since my other machine pretty much is gonna be running continually for a while until I finish this order, I'll probably be using this little guy a lot. All right, let me zoom in and see how close I am to the work area here. Yeah, that'll work. That gets me way off of it. I ain't got to worry about it. There's not enough leather left there to be concerned with. All right, so let's try this again now that it is properly focused. This little guy's got packs a pretty good little punch. That may be a little too hot. May end up having to back the power down on this guy. We'll see what it looks like. I mean, well, I'm gonna cut the camera off just to save a little time here on your guys' part, but I'm getting a little more flame in there than what I like. So I'm thinking I actually may have misjudged this little guy, and the power settings may not be that much more different than what I'm used to. So I may have went a little hot with it, but I'm gonna pause the camera and let it run and let it go ahead and start getting to the cutting part, and I'll check back with you in a few minutes. All right, guys, there's the final result. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you've done a really good job. I think I may have had to power up just a fuzz too much because it's got a little bit more soot than what I'm used to. Let me try to get this up here where you can see it. And this is before I clean it, guys. I mean, I'm fixing to take it over to the air hose without touching any of the charring. I'm gonna take it over to the air hose and blow it off. But that's straight off of the laser there. And this is like I said, this is the Atomstack 5.5 watt. So I think it done pretty well. The cut came out clean. The detail is pretty awesome. So let me go to the air hose and we'll take a further look at this thing. All right, guys, I blew it out with the air hose, and as you can see, the little holes that I put in there for stitching, the majority of my little pieces fell out, so that's a good sign. But I cleaned it off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, not a lot, and a magic eraser. And now I'm fixing to do my final little detail work because, like I said, I like for my stuff to kind of look original, classic, and rustic. So give me just a second, I'm gonna back the camera up and I'll show you my final step. All right, I hit it a little bit with the sandpaper just to kind of get any of the imperfections off of it, and any of that little soot that's left. I want to go ahead and get that off. But that's pretty much. That piece of sandpaper's got something on it. Hang on, let me get another sheet. I think I may have used that on a tumbler or something. It's got like a little bit of an aluminum color to it. So let me find me another sheet here. There's me a clean sheet of 3000. I'll just use that, same principle. And the sandpaper you can get, I got this on Amazon. It's made for sanding automobiles and that type of thing. I'm gonna grab my little handy magic eraser again and wipe it one more time to get any of that sanding residue off of it. You can see how the color's changing on this thing as that alcohol comes out of it. Got one little spot right there at the top where it's got a little bit of charring still. Like I said, I'm not trying to go for perfection here. I want it to look aged. I want it to look older, and I want it to look rustic. So, not really trying to go for perfection on this. So there you go, guys. There's the finished product, and as you can see, the holes, most all of them fell out. The ones that didn't fall out will get knocked out during the stitching process, because the way I put these together is with a little bit of cement, and then I sew it on there with some leather sewing string. It's not really a thread, it's more of a string, but there you go, guys. All right, guys, got us a hat patch done today. the Atomstack pulled through for me. I had the X tool tied up on another job that I'm doing that's got a lot of pieces I got to get cut, and so I had some hat patches that needed to be done. Even though the Atomstack's kind of compact, it's small, and so you're limited on the size of things that you can do with it. I got to thinking, and I was like, you know, hat patches aren't that big, so I don't need a huge work area. And believe it or not, it done a really good job. I kind of overestimated the power settings just a bit. But all in all, it came out good. I should have probably went a little more along the same power settings as what I used with my X tool, because I went a little hot and had a little more soot than what I normally would get. But then again, I don't have air assist on this machine, and so that's not really a fair comparison either. But if you're looking at getting one of these, or if you've got one and maybe you didn't know you could do this, this is the leather that I've used before. I got it off of Amazon. It is tooling leather, so it's not this. It's not the khaki colored leather that you see a lot. It's not a peel and stick type situation. I use a cement that is made for leather, and I also use this leather, and I'll drop those in the description if you're interested in getting it. Maybe you've got one of these machines and just didn't think you could do the hat patches or whatnot, but that's a pretty good little gig for this machine. And before you go, I'm going to show you, I did a little bit of upgrading for it since it did pass my initial initiation and it is allowed to stay at the shop here. I went ahead and I started making some things for it to make it a little more useful. Like I said, I've got some dog tags coming. I've got some business cards coming, things that are small, and that's right down this guy's alley, because with the smaller work bed, you're not going to be doing anything huge, but speed and power wise, I mean, this thing turns out these small items pretty well. So give just a second, I'm going to move over and show you the upgrades that the machine got today and yesterday. All right, guys, one thing that you'll notice right off the bat, if you hadn't already noticed it while I was cutting with it, is after much watching this machine work, I decided that it was in my best interest to go ahead and put me a little hole in this little plastic cover here. So I made sure there was nothing in the way, and I set me up a drill bit to just barely go through that. Put me a little tiny hole here, and I used the zip ties that they provided, and I kind of trained this cable a little bit to keep it away from the little roller wheel there. And so I've got that now to where it just kind of folds back here. And like I said, I did have to kind of train it to get it to go where I wanted to, but it seems to be working just fine. So I'm pleased with that little setup. I didn't do anything with the other cable here. There's not a lot of slack in that one, and it more or less, I did kind of train it a little bit and put a few bends in it to make sure that when this moves, that it goes out and back and around instead of trying to go into the workspace, and that worked pretty well. But as you expected, guys, I have made me a little foundation for this machine. I've taken a piece of steel and screwed it into this. This is a couple of pieces of MDF that I had that come from some shelving that I replaced with some of my wood. And I have manufactured a jig holder for this machine, and it's made to where the machine and the jig holder does not move independently of each other. And then I'm still working on these. This is just a prototype, but then I will be able to have these little plates that go into, just like my other machines jig holders. These little plates will snap along this ridge here, and these don't fit exactly right because like I said, I have made two different versions of this thing, and I'm still working on the bugs, but I've got it to where the jigs will be big enough once I'm through to where they will encompass the entire work area of this machine. So it'll be from there all the way out to here. All right, guys, it's been a night when it comes to cameras and camera equipment, but just wanted to let y'all check out the patch one last time and do a little voiceover outro here. But if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And like I said, I'll drop the leather and a few other links in the description if you're interested, as well as the one for the Atomstack. But just on my way out, I want to reiterate once again that this machine was donated to me to make videos with and to have fun with. And it's not changing my judgment or my views of the machine, but just want to throw that out there. So thanks again, and see you next time.